Hi everybody! Before we get started, I'd like to give a shout out to Raid Shadow Legends, who's the sponsor of today's video. Within this adventure, you can use countless champion combinations and various different tactics, all while selecting from over 500 champions that can be equipped with hundreds of different artifacts. You can use the links down below to build your team and get started. I personally love Raid's graphics and gameplay, finding that I have a soft spot for a couple of characters. Be sure to check out the Bannerlord Archmage helmet, who's tough to acquire, but he's worth it. Being good everywhere, he fills his own turn meter, stuns enemies, and he boosts the SPD and damage on your team. Astralon of the Sacred Order is my other go-to guy, not only just looking like a beast, but performing like one as well. Attacking entire enemy teams under veils, and teaming up with Countess Lix to hit like a truck. Now, Raid is kicking off the summer right, with tons of new content and a new rotation of the Doom Tower, which I'd love to finish this month. And for the next 30 days, brand new players can get a huge head start in Raid by clicking the link in the description below or by scanning the QR code shown on screen. You'll be gifted with the epic hero Konoru, who happens to be amazing in the Doom Tower, as well as 200,000 silver, 1 XP boost, 1 energy refill, and 1 ancient shard. All of this treasure awaits you here in your inbox. So with all that's going on, there's no excuse why you shouldn't come out and join the epic adventure of Raid Shadow Legends. Now let's cover the Red Thor. He made his first appearance in Thor, issue number 273, that was released in July 1978. His real name is Roger, aka Red Norvell, also having the alias of Thor. And he is a completely human male that stands 6 feet 2 inches tall and weighs 170 pounds. Although when he's in the form of Thor, he's 6 feet 6 inches tall and weighs 640 pounds, having blue eyes and long red hair. Now, it was stated by Odin himself that Red had completely equal powers to the original Thor Odinson, with my personal observation being that he expressed all of the abilities except the warrior's madness. That being said, Red possessed vast superhuman strength, being able to lift well over 100 tons, as well as vast superhuman speed, agility, durability, and energy projection, with him also being able to fly at light speed using his hammer. Now, this Warhammer, which some call Crusher, is virtually indestructible and helps him channel his energy projection, weather control, and teleportation abilities, particularly electricity and lightning, as well as being able to jump dimensions and exhibit a degree of matter manipulation, similar to Odinson when in possession of the Mjolnir hammer. And although Red initially needed to possess Thor's belt of strength, named Mjolnir, and his gloves for holding Mjolnir, he can now simply just lift his own Warhammer, which, by the way, seems to only be able to be lifted by him. This may be due to the fact that Red is the only one of the Thors who became the God of Thunder by going through a trial, instead of simply being worthy to lift Mjolnir. Now, we first see Roger Norvell, aka Red, as a member of a film crew that was making a documentary. His small group was tricked and transported to Asgard by Loki. While there, Red immediately became enamored at the beauty of Sif, who happened to be the love of the powerful Thor Odinson. So when Red was rejected by this Asgardian beauty, it led him to the senseless conclusion that he wanted to battle Thor. However, the tricky Loki saw this as an opportunity to beat Thor, then putting extreme enchantments upon Red to give him Thor-like powers. But what neither Loki nor Red realized is that this was part of Odin's plan to make a contingency just as insurance for the loss of his son. For this plan of Odin's, he had bestowed a copy of Thor's essence inside of his iron gloves, his belt of strength, and the fires of Geirrödir. Also that he could empower another Asgardian or mortal if Asgard was ever threatened when Thor was gone. Another reason is that because along the way, Odin learned of Loki and his daughter Hela's plan to trigger the cataclysmic events of Ragnarok, in which it was prophesied that the Odinson would die while fighting the Midgard Serpent. So being a good father, he made this plan to create another Thor to die in his son's place. When we see Roger Norvell put on the enchanted belt, gloves, and then enter the flames, he would be transformed into his very own, yet equal version of Thor, albeit a little bit drunk off of power. Not surprisingly, he fought and beat the true Thor, almost taking him down for good, if it were not for his sound engineer Joey jumping in the way of his last blow. This accidental tragedy was just enough to shake him out of it, but he still told Lady Sif that he would spare Thor's life if they left together. And to save her love, she agreed, with the two of them traveling to Alfheim. After a while of them being gone, her rationalizing with him would pay off, and he'd decide for them to return to Asgard for him to make up for his wrongs. And it would come that his first act of heroism would be to take Thor's place in fighting the Midgard Serpent, actually giving his life in the process, and his spirit then being taken to Valhalla due to his valor. We'd later see Thor Odinson and his father have a falling out, and this would prompt Odin to restore Red to life and give him his godlike powers back, as well as his own Uru warhammer. During this time, Red would become Asgard's new protector, battling some of the biggest heavy hitters of the Nine Realms, such as the Hulk and the giant wolf Hoarfen. But it would eventually be that Thor would give Red his blessing, recognizing his bravery and the fact that Asgard and Midgard both needed a protector. From that point, Red would go on to have multiple heroic adventures, being key in helping Earth and Asgard fight against powerful foes, such as the powerful Onslaught and the immensely powerful Egyptian god of death named Seth. Now, for his powers and abilities and his influence on the Marvel Universe, for my 1 to 10 rating, I'll give Red a rating of 8, which is an unforgettable rating. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, and join the new Sage.